It's great to see you. You are Professor Derrick Fay, and from what I understand, you are going to be taking a group of students to Australia. Now, I'm going to want to hear all about this. My name is Dr. Vanessa Ament, and I'm over with Excite, helping Education Abroad show all of the students all of their wonderful possibilities for the summer. So before we get started, I think you prefer for me to call you Derrick. And I want to hear about where you're going, what you're going to be doing, and how many students you're intending to take. That would be the first thing I'd want to know, because this sounds pretty exciting. I know that you are in anthropology, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so tell me all about that.
Yeah, I'm a cultural anthropologist, and we're going to be doing two courses, Anth 132, which is cultural ecology, 127, which is political anthro. We're going to be in Brisbane, Australia, which is a stunning city on the banks of the Brisbane River, and there's opportunities to get out in the area. We're going to spend the day in the Great Barrier Reef, and we're going to be studying cultural ecology and political anthro. Yeah, go ahead.
So tell me how this learning abroad program is going to benefit your students.
Well, I think there's a lot of different benefits. I think it's going to be a chance to study cultural ecology in a setting which is really at the forefront of human engagement with climate change in a lot of ways. And we're studying conservation in the context of the Great Barrier Reef, which is threatened by climate change, of course. We're studying political anthro in a setting where anthropologists have been involved with the legal claims of Native Indigenous Australians for about 28 years now, and we're going to be looking at some of that history, and we're going to be, hopefully you're going to have some chances to engage with anthropologists who are representing Indigenous communities.
How many students are you hoping to take?
I'd say about 18.
Great.
About right. 15 to 18.
Wonderful. And which part of summer, what dates would be included in this study abroad?
It's the 19th of July through the 27th of August, I believe.
Is there, I don't suppose there's a language requirement.
No, there's not for this course, no.
Well, what kind of prerequisites are your students going to need in order to take this course?
Just Anthro 1, which is cultural anthro.
Okay, great.
Yeah,
so, sidebar, in getting my PhD, which is in film studies, my favorite classes were in anthropology, and I took cultural anthropology and mostly ethnography, studying the working places and interviewing people. And I have to say, anthropology is one of my favorite subjects in the entire universe for a person who is a creative arts, performing arts person. So this is particularly exciting to me, Derrick. I do have another question. You talked a little bit about some of the cultural aspects, but can you be more specific about where you'll be going and what sort of cultural richness is going to come from this?
So we're looking at climate change, human adaptation to climate change, including Indigenous, colonial, and Western scientific approaches to fire and the role of fire in human-modified landscapes. The fire regimes were shaped by Indigenous Australians for hundreds, if not thousands of years.
What other places might you be seeing that would not necessarily be just connected to this study?
We're going to go to Stradbroke Island, which is a site near Brisbane, and Stradbroke Island is a spot. It's been the subject of an Indigenous land rights claim. So we're going to be. I'm working on setting up some meetings with the leadership there. We're going to be touring around, looking at Indigenous foodstuffs and the way people made a living off this island, and also looking at the contemporary political and legal struggles that they've been involved in.
That's wonderful. So there might be some students, Derrick, that are asking themselves, yes, but how is this going to help me vocationally when I am out of college or have left UCR? So what would you say to the students who have more concerns about how this will benefit them in their career choices in the future?
I think it'll be useful for anyone who's interested in conservation and environment in any respect, and in property law, in political struggles for Indigenous rights. Anth 127, the political anthro course, it's elected for a number of different programs in CHAS, including the law and society major. So, I mean, if anyone's thinking about doing law down the road, it could be a really exciting setting in which to think about the way in which law intersects with conservation, with Indigenous land rights, and so on.
Wonderful. So this sounds like fun. Of course, anthropology is something I love, and cultural anthropology is just spectacular. So what would be one final thing you would want to tell students that, before I ask you how they reach you, what would be the one final thing you'd want to say to these students who might be considering going to Australia to study cultural anthropology and climate change and political economy and all of the legal aspects that you were talking about? What would you want to say to them as a way of, this is why you really need to go with us?
Oh, well, Brisbane is absolutely a fantastic city. And we'd be in St. Lucia, which is right on the Brisbane River. There's ferries, the main form of public transport. You can get around the city by boat anywhere you want to go. It's an absolutely lovely place to spend 5 weeks.
But oh,
And
so you can travel by boat. It's kind
yeah,
of like
yeah,
going on a
remember,
Vaporetto to Venice. Well, that
yeah,
is a fun.
and it's yeah. If you've been to London, it's like London, but it's semi-subtropical.
Wonderful.
Yeah,
If students want to email you, what is your email that they can reach you at?
Derrick, DERICK .FAY at UCR.edu.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. This sounds very exciting. And I would imagine that a lot of students are going to be wanting to go with you to Australia to study fires and climate change and terrain and soil and all of the things connected to the cultural anthropological aspects. Thank you so much.
All right, thank you. I appreciate it.